All right, so let's go into Chapter 14. Good news is it's a short chapter. We'll be done by 9 at the latest. And you'll have plenty of time. I sent you that email with Luke's information in it. Text him this or email him this morning if you want. All right, in this chapter, you learn how to add audio and video to a website. Does it surprise you that the easiest way to add audio or to add video is to just put the file in a hyperlink? But when you do that, you've got no control over how it looks. But you can do it. You can link to an audio file. You can link to a video file. It's not hard. All right, so for instance, just to show you a very quick example, if I come out here, all right, and I'm just going to go to literally to my own stuff. In fact, we'll look at what we did yesterday. All right, so here's the Chapter 13 form demo that we did yesterday.
Put in our starting information, which is this.
All right, so there's that. I'm going to close that. All right, and just to show you how fast we can do this, it won't look that fast, but it'll be pretty fast. All right, no, don't want that. All right, so if I come out here and I create a new file, you've seen this before, and in my body, I come in here and say, click here to see yesterday's video. All right, look on the screen, please. I've got to click here. You should really never do it just like with the word here, but all I'm doing is in my hyperlink, I'm putting in the link to yesterday's video. All right, so now I'm going to save it, and I'll just save it right to my home page, and I'm going to save it as video demo.html. Okay, so there it is. Run. Bring it up in Chrome. Click here for yesterday's video. I click. There it is.
And
that's all you got to do. Okay?
Which is this.
And I could do the same thing if it was an audio file. Does that make sense? All right. So that's the easiest way to do it. But again, you have virtually no control when you do it that way over how it looks, etc. So we get an intro to media on the web, how to add audio and video to a web page. The good news is it's almost the same, except with one time you use an audio tag, and with one time you use a video tag. But other than that, it's almost the same thing. You'll notice it's only 20 pages, so this is not long. All right? So, an introduction to media on the web. Please look up on the screen here. All right? Now, notice common types for video. MPEG-4, OGG, WebM, etc. Couple things about this. MPEG is what I end up using. All my files are saved as MPEG-4s. So all the videos I do, the software that I run it through, that's what it saves it as. OGG, the key thing here, it's open source. What does that mean? It's free for anybody to use. The bad news is not every browser supports it. All right. Almost always, when a browser doesn't support it, what browser do you think that would be that wouldn't support it? Want to take a guess? Yeah. It's almost always Microsoft's browser that doesn't play with everybody else. Okay? Now, also notice there's WebM. Anytime you see something that starts with a web like that, usually it means that Google is behind it. Okay, so those are your main videos. Now look at audio. There is an MPEG-4 and an MP3. Those go together. There's an OGG and an OGG. There's a WebM and a WebM. So you can kind of see all the similarities. WAV files are also pretty popular. A lot of older files, audio files that are saved as WAV files. All right. So as it says, an actual media type is a container that holds this stuff. To play it, the browser requires a media player for that type. In other words, if I'm using IE and I try using OGG here and here, it's not going to work. That's all they're saying. All right, but you use it on any other browser, it'll work. All right. Now, video codecs. Okay, this is just kind of a pain in the butt. And this is one of those things, you'll learn it and then you'll forget it, and it's fine. So notice there's 3 codecs that are shown there. Look at the unordered list that's right here. What a media player does when it plays a video. Number 1, it determines the media type that the user is attempting to play. All right? So it says, oh, it's an OGG. Oh, it's a WebM or whatever. Then it determines whether or not the browser can handle that type. If it can, it plays it. All right, so it decodes the video, and it decodes the audio. All right? And if for some reason it can't, usually it does nothing. It'll just sit there. It won't give you an error, won't do anything. All right? So codec, which is what these are video codecs. Codec, is it's kind of an acronym, but it stands for compressor, decompressor, and it doesn't matter, or coder, decoder. And it's the way that audio and video players decide whether or not they can play the audio and or the video you're asking them to play. All right? So as it says, a codec compresses the code. Why is that important? If I'm going to, let's just say that I want to do a website on some singer. All right? My kids still like Beyonce. So let's say I'm going to do a website on Beyonce. And I get her permission to go and put a bunch of her songs on there so that people can play them. All right? If she's got songs that are 3, 4, 5 minutes long, they're going to be pretty big. Does that make sense? But if I can compress them, that means they'll load faster because it's like zipping a file. That's pretty much what you're doing right there. All right? And it says there's dozens of different codecs you can use. These are the ones that are used most often to do the compression, make them available so that they're able to use, etc. All right, and just like there's video, there's audio. I'm not going to read this to you. Again, these are the ones that are used the most often. All right. Audio and video support in current browsers. This is a pretty good chart. Notice Chrome, everything. Edge, pretty much. Firefox, everything. Safari, not so much. Opera, everything. Well, and again, who are the culprits? IE, nothing. Why? Because they want you to load their stuff. All right? Firefox, or not Firefox, Safari, half and half. So that's audio support. Then look at video support. IE, nothing. It does support MP. IE supports MP. It's one of the reasons I'm glad that the software I use saves stuff as MP4. I know a lot of the people who look at the videos I create, they're using IE, and there's never any problem. Okay. MIME types. MIME, just so you know, it stands for, what is it? Multimedia Internet, like mapping extension or something like that. It's letting the system know it's an audio MPEG. It's an audio MPEG. It's etc. It's an audio OGG. All right. Again, the most common are OGG because it's open source and MPEG. Most common, that's for audio. Most common video are OGG, and again, MPEG. Okay. All right. This is another time too, just so you know, and I don't think it'll affect anything, Maya, that you're doing, but Apple doesn't do things the way that Microsoft does. I know that's a surprise, right? But some stuff that Microsoft will allow, Apple won't, and vice versa. That's all. Now, when you list these audio types, and you list these video types, you can list multiple ones. Does that make sense? And then you could tell this that if you know which ones the users are more apt to use, like OGG, you put that first. And the one that you know that they're going to use last, you put it at the end. All right. Here's a video converter, as it says, that can convert an MP4 file to an OGG file. All right. What's nice about putting this stuff in there is when you specify what you want for the audio and or the video, like for audio, it'll bring up a little player. All right. You can tell it to start right away. You can tell it to keep playing. You can, loop through, etc. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. As it says, to encode audio and video files in the formats you need, you can use, there's many encoders out there. One the author recommends is the Miro video converter. Why? It's free. All right. It lets you convert audio and video from one format to another. Okay? And again, if you're interested in that, you just go look it up. All right. Believe it or not, we're almost done because there's not real much left in here. But I do want to go over this. Look on the screen, please. It says how to use the object and param elements. So we're going to look at this in just a minute. But it says this figure shows you how you can use the object element to embed a media type in a page. All right. When you use this, it says you can include one or more parameters in it. All right. You usually code the 4 attributes that are shown. So if you look on the screen, here is an example. Make this bigger, nice and big there, right there. So notice beginning and ending object tag. Everybody see this? All right. This right here, that is the beginning tag. Right to there. That's it. So you're saying it's a video. It's an MP4 video. All right. You're saying where the data lives. You're telling it when it comes up on the screen, you're saying how big an area do you want to be able to hold it. I'm going to grab this. And I'm going to put it right in the same file where we put the other one. Throw a few BR tags in here. Then I'm going to put that in. All right, so let me get rid of this. There. So what do we have here? Well, there's the object tag again. All right. The width and the height. And here's our param, or our parameters. Okay, and that's the end of our object tag. Now, I want to do this. Let's see. Free demo MP4 file. Okay, so here's one, a video test. Go right there. So if this works, look on the screen here. I guess it's a video file, but it says to download it in MP4 format. All right.
Okay, calm down, John. Let's just keep this in perspective. Where's she taking us?
I should have seen this coming.
We'll be fine.
So there's
Jesse.
Toy Story 4
.mp4.
.mp4. So Toy Story 4 .mp4. There it is. Run this. See how it comes up? All right. That's all you got to do. It's not like, not to be funny. This isn't really rocket science. So when you do your next test, I will ask you, if you want to do this, you can. You don't have to. If you want to make a little video on yourself, save it to your phone and then copy it to your computer or whatever. Or I'll just ask you to go out onto the system, find an audio file, Find a video file. Okay, so there's one. Let's see. So that was a free MP4. How about a free demo MP3? Sample MP3. A lot of these files, if you've never heard them, they'll be like water dripping or whatever. I had one that I used with dogs, you know, and they had different barks and stuff like that. So I made this little thing on that, you know, and kind of made my own song. It wasn't like the dogs that barked Merry Christmas or what, you know, or Jingle Bells. It was just some screwing around stuff. So if we look here, let's see. I'll grab the MP3. I'm going to actually see if I can just grab this from examples. I don't know if that'll work like that, but I'm going to try it anyway. So we're going to put that in just a second. All right. As it says here, when you use the object element, you can control the appearance. Now, you'll almost always put in autoplay, because what you're doing there is you're telling it to put the controls in there and stuff for you. All right. If you don't specify the MIME type, it uses the default for the browser. If you don't want the interface, you can omit width and height parameters or set them to 0. What's really bad about doing that is you can set it up so if somebody comes to your page, for example, either an audio plays or a video plays or they both play, you can set it up so they can't turn them off. All right. Now, you can have them turn the sound down, but it's still going to show. That's considered really irritating and really bad news to do that. That's why typically if you are going to do that, you provide that information. Okay, so here's an example using an embed for an MP3 file. So I'm going to grab theirs, copy, put that in here. Paste it in. There it is. Again, let me get rid of all this stuff. All right. Again, a width, a height. Oops. Try that again. A height. Autoplay. All right. And I guess I got rid of that, but that's okay. So let's see. This stuff has gotten so much better than it used to be. I mean, the quality is so very much improved. The quality just used to be terrible. There we go. All right, so what do we got here? Yeah, maybe not really what you want to listen to, but you get the idea. So I'm going to save this, run it. There's that. There's our audio if we want it. And it should have sound. Okay, so we've got that. Here's our video. I'm sorry, that was our video. Here's our audio. Okay.
Andy's going to college. Can you believe it? What are you going to do with these old toys?
So again, you saw, and even me butchering it, how long did that take? Not very long. That was what I wanted, so that's fine. All right. So in our book here, they do have examples. There's a YouTube. We already looked at this. All right, let's just grab the whole thing for the YouTube. Again, width and height. Get rid of all that other garbage. So there's the YouTube. Now, here's my question for you. Are either one of you going to have any problems having to embed anything like this into your next test? Either an audio or a video or a YouTube. All right. I mean, if you want, I can print out this file that I just did. You know, it's not a big file, but it shows how to do all of it. It's 36 lines.
Yeah, I like it.
It's fine. All right. So when you use embed, you code the parameters as attributes. All right. Notice the embed wasn't part of the original HTML4, but it is the HTML5. The key thing is one of the reasons that HTML5 was created was the audio and video support in earlier versions was bad. Now it's much easier to use. You used to have to type in a lot more stuff than you type in right now. Okay? All right. So the embed element for playing an MP3 shown above won't work in Firefox if the page that contains it is run from your local computer. All right. So again, what they're saying is most of this stuff should work on most machines. That makes sense? All right. So here's common things you can use with it. This is kind of cool, just so you see this. I'll let you look this up yourselves. See this poster thing? Posters literally meant, you go to a movie theater, they'll have like coming attractions or what's playing now. Sometimes if you go inside, they'll have like a real life, Star Wars always did that, like a Chewbacca or whatever type of thing. You can set up posters so that if you've got a video, let's just say an audio clip, you can have a poster so you can have a picture of the people who are actually saying it, if you want to do that. All right. Loop. I used to have students do this. Again, you guys are too young. That it didn't mean anything to you probably. But when Neil Armstrong walked on the moon and he said, "This is one small step for man, one large leap for mankind," that was the whole quote. And I had people put it in a loop, which means it kept playing and playing and playing and playing type of thing. And it got boring real fast. When you say controls, it puts the controls in. You can specify a width. You can specify a height. All right. As it says, the source is what you want to play. The type is an optional MIME type. Okay, and again, there are examples of them in here. So, yeah, I'll print that page out. But again, if you look the last 4 pages or 5 pages of the chapter, here's a web page. And that web page has both audio and video. In fact, if you look, see this one right here, this San Joaquin Valley? I believe that when we ran that, that's the same one that came up. There it is, same guy. Maybe it's not, but I think it is. All right. So let's see. Again, as it says, the web page that's shown, again, it's on the end of the chapter, 522 to about 526, shows you both audio and video. All right. The poster, as it says, is used to display a static image. All right. So this will show. Look on the screen. This is just audio, but you'll see this as it's playing. Sometimes, too, you can even set it up so it's got closed captioning in it. All right. Why would that be important? Well, if somebody's deaf, you know, seeing this beautiful video is not going to help much without closed captioning, right? In fact, they're talking about, And I don't know if either one of you have ever even watched these, but as an example, let's see. Like I said, I don't know if either one of you have ever watched these, but this is what we did yesterday. Remember this?
That's the way yours looks now.
All right.
After we put the CSS in.
Well, again, I had been told that what I should start doing is closed captioning these. It's a little bit more work. There's some settings and stuff I have to set. When I've tried it, people don't like it because the closed captioning comes right here on the bottom of the screen. And if I've got stuff there I'm referencing, you can't see it. But the idea is, let's just assume for a second that one of you is either deaf or hard of hearing. If you request it, I'd have to go back and add that stuff. All right. So they show you the HTML for it. There's the audio. This is 525. There's the video. Then they show you the CSS for it. In fact, there really is no CSS because I guess they don't do much with it. So that's pretty much it. Now, pause this. All right, so the rest of the period is yours. Let's also do this. I want to do it quickly, but I'm going to come over here. Well, hope it doesn't sound bad to say I'm happy, but I am. And will you both do me a favor tomorrow? I should be down there at 9. You may not get there at 9. I get that. But I'm going to probably be there from about 9 to 10. Most of the time, there'll be a sign there that'll say where the IT and IWT areas are. I'll be in there most of the time. Try to find me. Just say, hey, I'm here. That's it. Then you're marked present. Okay? All right. Let me jump down here. Uh, 13 yesterday was the form. And 14, you're going to add audio and video. Can you see this? There's the audio. There's some chanting, and there's the video. I think all that stuff is given to you. You just have to link to it. All right. And the same thing for Halloween. You do the form for Chapter 13. For Chapter 14, wow. You're going to add, looks like a Halloween video. Ooh. All right. These are all things when we get done with this. The last one that you have in there that hopefully works is responsive. It's got audio. It's got video in it. It's got forms. Those are things that should be added at the end of the semester, and I'll show you how to do that. But that's stuff that should be added to your portfolio. All right? And you guys have both mentioned. So let's just assume for a second that somebody says, well, Keegan, you're applying for this internship. Do you have an example of some of your work? If you link to that, you can bring that up. You can also link to the tests that we've done, etc. Now, if there's a test that we did, you don't like the way it looks, don't link to that one. All right? But I'm going to want you to link probably to a good half dozen to a dozen different things. All right? We'll talk about all that stuff later. Any last questions? All right, the rest of the period is yours. I'm going to walk downstairs. Joy, who's the cleaning lady, told me I always get this certain kind of iced tea that they have down there. She said they came this morning, so I'm going to go buy myself an iced tea. I'll be back in about 5 minutes.